So as many players know, the platform up there has the pursuer if you go up there, which is why I stopped on the ladder, because while I could fight him up there, I thought it would be better to do it in the actual boss room for newer players, just so they could see where he normally would be. They'd see the trebuchet things that are visible here. And with any luck, I'll be able to hit him with one of those. If not, then oh well. Kinda in a rough spot here. Gotta run away and heal. There we go. That room can be a problem. I don't even remember what's in these. Chloranthy ring, that's not bad. On a slab. Okay. So there's two main types of trapped chests. Obviously the poison and then the crossbows. A lot of people will say the put your shield up for the crossbow chest, but I always just try to get behind it as quickly as I can. I figure if I can get behind it, I'll only get hit by one or none if I can do it quick enough. So just saves, because I don't even really use shields, so it's just a better option for me. I wish there was more rooms like this where you effectively knock at the door and then the enemy will open it for you. I think that's a really cool concept. Alright, talk to Pate. So if anyone was wondering where you get the large white soapstone sign from, it's from Pate. And the way you do it is you gotta run through this and then get back down there and talk to him. Now you need that for the Arbiter Spirit Covenant, the blue people that will invade, or the blue people that get summoned if you're in the other covenant, the one that needs help. I really hate fighting these guys. I just hate the guys with the spears, because they always just hide behind the shield. And I'm usually not one-handing, so I really want to do a shield break. Okay, and for those of you wondering where the sorcerer wand is, if you don't start out as the sorcery class, it's right here. I don't know if people still are unsure of where that is. I remember, I don't know, 2-3 weeks after release, people couldn't find it. Just frustrating some players, so hopefully they all know where it is by now. You never know. And this is what I was talking about with the durability. I did not want this to happen, but there's just so many things to fight in this beginning area that It really was bound to happen. Alright. Let's get our soapstone. I don't know why I kill that guy all the time. I guess it just makes me feel better to kill him. Only thing really notable up here is that crossbow. There is a helmet, I believe, up here, but it's a very forgettable place. I'm trying to do a drop attack, especially since there's 3 guys in close quarters here. If you don't really have like a purpose for going up here, I wouldn't even bother. On most playthroughs, I completely avoid this part. Just, you know, mail breaker. I don't think I've ever seen anyone use it. Infantry helm, cool. It's not really the best. These guys are the bane of some people's existence. Unfortunately, you only fight this one here, and you don't really run into him again until Iron Keep. And at that point, we should be strong enough to 2-shot him, I believe. Did I mention I hate these spear guys? Okay, there's really not much of a point in doing this part either. I believe there's a halberd on this guy's corpse. Maybe a soul too. Yeah, halberd and soul. Kinda easy to fall off, I think. Yeah. Okay, I want this bug. So the good part about the Mace's moveset, very easy to kill those. If you can get 1 hit on them, then you can almost certainly get the second. At this point, I think all that's left to do is rest at the bonfire up here, and then fight the giant. So the giant is the, I guess, the intended first boss people would run into, and you get a summon for him as well. As long as you talk to Pate. I don't know if Pate's summon sign is there if you don't talk to him. So it's definitely wise to do that. Before I do it though, I am going to get the mace and see what I can do about upgrading it. Resting at the bonfire again to get the blacksmith in there. There we go. Let's get it some upgrades.
I'll be.
That'll be more than good enough for this fight. I think the only problem people run into with this fight is they're using a weapon that's not very strong, so they're only hitting them for like, I don't know, like 50 damage or something like that. Just due to how weak their weapon is. So as long as you've got an upgraded one, there's really nothing difficult about the fight. It's kind of obvious. You sit under its legs and attack the legs. Really straightforward. Not much going on with it. In fact, that's how just about every fight, if it's bigger than you, then the fight is going to be sit on its legs and attack its legs. I think I'm gonna go talk to Kale and get the house key. And then I might open that wall up with the firebomb that I bought.
Oh.
So it's kind of cool. There's a quest line that goes throughout this with Pate and a guy called Creighton, and it's sort of a who do you trust more situation, where they're both accusing each other of being murderers or criminals to some extent. And Kale is the one who actually tells you who the murderer is. But he won't do that until you've pretty much beaten the game. Which is a nice touch. It's rare in a Souls game to actually get a conclusion to a story. Alright, let's open this shortcut up. It might be too close. This didn't kill me. Alright. Giant time. There's a locked door down here, and you actually don't get the key to it until you do Iron Keep. Which is also neat. It's cool how they sort of want you to revisit previous areas after you've done them, after you've gotten to a certain point in the game. And how there's just simply locked things that you can only get to until you've reached a certain point. That's one of the good things about the Souls games, is they really have you exploring the map, exploring the areas as best as you can. So as you can see, with even just 2 upgrades on the mace, this fight's really just a joke. Just sit on its legs. For almost every boss fight, I will be putting a resin on the weapon, That's just what I do. That's for the way I'm building this character. It will always be stronger for me to use the weapon either in base or as a raw template and then put a resin on it. So because of that, I really recommend that new players do that as well. And also just with the way scaling is right now, they're really... if you're using a dexterity weapon, then I guess you can get away with infusing it, which is something we'll get to after we do Iron Keep. But beyond that, I really don't see the benefit of infusing it with anything other than raw. I mean, unless you're doing like a poison or a bleed build, something like that. So, I'm gonna go ahead and upgrade the mace.
I'll be around.
Is that hate to see? However,
I've already got it at +3. That's definitely enough to pretty much cruise by a lot of these beginning areas. And as you can see, since it's the stat priorities are so low for it, we can just blast up our health and our stamina and our vitality, and just keep rocking it. I never remember what's over here. I know that this chest changes. The loot inside of it will change depending on which new game you're on, whether it's +1 or +2 or stuff like that. Now let's go in here. That sound you hear are actually the 3 little pigs that are outside. Although it does lend a sort of creepy atmosphere to this house. Does this have large titanite shards in it? Oh. Was that 3? That was definitely 3. Okay, so when I bought the 3 from the blacksmith, you don't need to buy those. You can just use those 3. I messed up. It's not that big of a deal though. It's what, like 2,400 souls? Who cares? Get an Estus Flash Shard. And I don't know what the deal is with this chest. This chest used to be a soul vessel, and now I'm getting petrified something, which I noticed on a previous character. So I don't know if they just wanted to give players more petrified somethings or what the deal is, but kinda wish it was a soul vessel. So I had more room to respec, and if I decide I don't like it, respec again. I think it might be time to do nomads, but Okay, so this is another area that you can run past every enemy, just about, and pretty much skip the vast majority of the area. I'm gonna go through and kill it. I'll just clear it, just so people know what's here, people know where the items are and everything. But yeah, you can absolutely run through this area. Get to, there's a gate that I will eventually open that you'll see, and at that gate is the summon sign for the NPC that'll help you with the boss. So I think what I'll be doing is just going through, killing everything, opening up the gate, Then I'll go back to the bonfire and just run past everything and get to summon as quick as I can. These guys can do an absolute boatload of damage to you if you get caught in one of their combos. So it's very important that you sort of play defensively against them. Or unless you know that you're going to be able to hit them first and kill them. It's a ring of life protection. Earlier in, I guess it'll be part 1, I mentioned that there's rings that you can equip that'll make it so if you die you won't lose your souls. That's one of them. A little break when you die, but you don't lose the souls. And I don't know if you stay human or not. I'm assuming you don't, but I really just, I don't know. I think I've used them twice maybe, so I really don't know. These guys can get you bleeding if you're not paying attention. What bleeding does is it reduces your stamina bar. And I think it might like make you more prone to be hit by a critical strike or something. I don't really know what the deal is with bleeding. It's not the most effective thing that I've seen. I was kind of hoping it would do like a damage over time effect when I heard about it. When I heard it would be in this game, but it's, I don't know, it doesn't really seem to do that. A lot of new players can get frustrated with these guys because their range is quite wide, or quite long, and their attacks can go in very long arcs. But once you figure out that you can backstab them, they just pretty much become a non-issue. This is really the only part in the entire level that is semi-difficult because there's a chance to pull a lot of these. And if you mess up like I just did, you'll get bleeding, and you gotta pretty much, I mean, you don't have to run and wait it off, but I usually do. I don't see a reason not to. Almost bleeding. One thing I will say that's bad about the mace is it's very difficult when you first start using it to get used to the hit radius. So, especially with the way that the camera is set up, your depth perception is going to be essentially saying, yeah, you're hitting them, and in reality, you're missing. So you just gotta get used to that. It shouldn't be that big of a deal once you start using it. And here we go. The first part that shows my favorite NPC in the game, Gavlon. Now at this point, if you wanted to do a strength build that was, you know, more like a typical strength build, the greatsword from that chest is the weapon you want to use. Just like I'm doing with the mace, just keep upgrading it. It is a very good weapon. And you can kill any boss with it. It's slow, but it hits like a truck, especially if you're putting a bunch of points into your own strength to make it better. It's very good. In fact, that's the first weapon I used on the first character I made on this game. I just picked up that greatsword and went to town. Another cool thing right here, you don't actually need to pull this lever. If you have sight on it with a bow and you shoot it with an arrow, it might have to be like an iron arrow or something like that, but I know you can shoot that bell with an arrow and the bell will go and the ship will be summoned to port, which is very cool. I like touches like that, you know, little things that developers put in the game to make it a little more like sensible, I suppose. So I know one of these chests has a large Titanite shard. Which is pretty much why I do this area in a full clear normally. Or at the very least I'll kill the guys around this house, just so I can make sure I get that and continue to upgrade my weapon as quickly as I can. Because that is the key to getting strong in this game fast. And you can do this with any weapon. You know, you could do it with, I would recommend doing it with the weapons that that first blacksmith has, either the falchion or the mace. Those are, in my opinion, the two best weapons to use. But that's mostly just because of my personal experience with them. I've really never used the halberds in this game, nor have I used the spears. Really don't have much experience with the lances. Don't have much experience with crossbows. And I haven't done a whole lot of magic. I've always been more of a melee guy. Just get in, hit things with a big weapon, and leave. It's always been my forte. I like to keep it simple. Alright. Huh. Thought I aggroed the dog, but apparently I didn't. Okay. I could make a run for the boss right now, but I think I'll just get the rest of the items to the level first. Probably rest at the bonfire after that and just make a run for it. Just so you, just to show people, like, it's really very simple to just run past enemies in this game. It's really not, they don't make it complicated. Which is very, it's kind of like a blessing and a curse. Because if you get stuck and you realize, like, you know where to go, you just can't do it, then you can just run past stuff and you don't really get the learning curve that's associated with the game. So you're not exactly allowing yourself to get better, you're just blasting through the content. But regardless, okay. I know there's a room that I haven't gone in yet. There's a room with a bunch of poison bases somewhere here. I'll find it. Okay, if you're doing the summon, you unfortunately are kinda forced to kill all these guys. What I usually do is just summon, it's Lucatiel, so I'll summon her,